Hi, everyone. I am Jen here at the Local Gist. Thanks so much for joining us on our podcast for today. We are meeting with Life Story Interviews owner, Kristen Potter, to learn about their business and what they have been doing here in the Temecula Valley. Let me go ahead and bring her in. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, everyone.
Nice to meet you. Nice to have you on our show.
Thank
For
you.
those of us that don't have just getting to meet you for the first time, could you tell us a little bit about your business and introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello. My name is Kristen Potter, and I'm the founder of Life Story Interviews. And what we do is we help families tell their life story on video in the comfort of their own home. We not only do life story interviews, but we do couple interviews. We do interviews about home sweet memories when people are leaving their home after many, many years and all the memories they might have. We also do business story spotlights, which are 15-minute spotlights about their business. So yeah, we have a great time doing it. We have learned a tremendous amount since we started last year, and we're having a blast meeting so many amazing people in this community, and really just it's just touching my heart. It really is. People really open up so much when they're asked questions that perhaps they've never been asked before. So it's a really special process, and I'm having a great time with it.
So I have to ask, so when did your business start?
So I left my corporate job last May, and I spent probably about 3 months doing an incredible amount of research, and probably didn't officially launch until November, but I started doing interviews in July and August just to get my feet wet and to learn all the things about video. So
And you said that was 2023?
24.
24. Okay, great.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm a baby company.
I love that though. But okay, so what was the catapult? Do you know the thing that just kind of was like, this is what, since you said new to video, but then this is a very big passion of yours. And so, there has to be that pivotal moment where you're like, I have to figure this out. This is what I want to do.
It's been on my heart for many, many years. I did the business plan originally in 2018, and I actually ended up taking a job in 2020, the same week that lovely COVID hit. I started a new job in sales operations, and let me tell you, I'm good with the details. I'm amazing with operations, and I do a very, very good job. But the truth is, I did not feel that I was making any sort of impact, and I wasn't changing anybody's lives by keeping track of details and making sure shipments left. So, I made a promise to God way back in 1988 when I was spending time in the hospital after a terrible car accident. I made a promise to God that I would do something with my life that would make a difference. And that's just been on my mind for so many years. And when I really reflect on the different things that I've done, the businesses that I've had, yes, they've been lovely. Yes, I think I've made an impact on people, but not the kind of impact that I'm making right now.
Yeah.
So that's the reason.
That's really cool. And COVID was such a pivotal moment, and I didn't even know that was going to be your answer, but I'm always intrigued to learn what people did in COVID. I myself is where the Local Gist came from, is during COVID. We too were like, things changed, a lot of things, nothing was the same. So it was a great time to really say, okay, now,
Right.
and then since then, so that you told me you have all these different types of stories that you tell, from the wedding story to the grandma story to the grandpa when he was in World War II stories. Like you've been across all the gamut, but like, what is your favorite stories to interview thus far? Because I think people initially don't quite realize those stories till after the fact. And you've told me that before, that they were like, oh, I wish I'd gotten that moment,
Veterans are near and dear to my heart, but I would say anyone who is on hospice is an incredibly rewarding interview, not just for them, but for me.
Mhm.
I witness something called reminiscent therapy, where again, people are not prepared for questions that I am going to ask them. I don't give
Mhm.
questions ahead of time, specifically so that it's off the cuff and it's very natural.
Yeah.
And when those questions come up that really just touch their heart and they expand on it, I see their face light up, their eyes light up, and especially when they're talking about their family that they will be leaving behind. So
Yeah.
it is it's very emotional, but I see the impact that it makes on them once they finish the interview and the
Mhm.
things that they say to me.
Mhm.
So for me, I would say it's the hospice patients, and
Okay.
it's great. It really is.
That is really cool. Yeah. So is it just you? Are you a one woman show? Do you have a team with you? You guys, when someone schedules an interview with you, what can they expect when you come in to their home? What's that
It's
initial
just
experience?
me right now. I'm a one woman show,
That's
and
good. That's probably very comforting.
it really, and to be honest, when I talk about the time that I spent doing research and planning, that was one of the things that was really, really important to me, which is I don't come in with a crazy amount of equipment. I come in with a light or two, and my iPhone is attached to my light. I don't have a big camera. I have the iPhone, which is really one of the
Wonderful.
best
Yep,
the best cameras on the planet.
it really is.
And I have a little chat with them, make sure they understand that this is very relaxed. They don't have to answer anything they don't want to answer. And um, we find a spot in their home, typically where they like to hang out. And
That was actually my next question for you is like, how do you make somebody feel comfortable in their space? Like, how do you guide someone through the storytelling and like, especially if they're really nervous or shy and they don't really know where to start?
it's so interesting. I have to say there is something about me. I have some kind of gift where people do feel comfortable around me. I can't explain why, but I really haven't had anybody really panicked. I
Okay.
honestly haven't. One of the things that I don't do is I typically don't show them the footage.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll ask, and I'll say, you know what? I really want to polish this for you. And I
Mm-hmm.
want to make it amazing. I want to add all your photos. I want to add some music,
Yeah.
and then you'll get to see it. Within 30
Yeah.
days, I'll deliver it to you. And the reason for that is because I don't want them to obsess over it
Mm-hmm.
and worry about it, because people are very concerned about what they look like on video.
Oh, well,
And
yeah,
we're
yeah.
just so hard on ourselves. We really are. And I have to say, I'm the same way. So I totally understand. But yeah, like I was saying, I really like to ask them in the first place, have you thought of a place that you would like to be interviewed? And
Mm-hmm.
99% of the time, it's where they spend the most time.
Gotcha.
And so it's their chair, or on their back patio, or, in their sitting room where they read a lot.
Yeah.
So it
And
just varies, but
do you
but
take,
yeah, that's the first step, is just making them feel comfortable being in an area that they're comfortable,
yeah.
and letting them know that they can make mistakes and I'm going to edit it out. They can
Yeah.
cry and I'll edit it out. And guess what? I might cry. And we might
Oh,
have to hit pause on that, because people really touch me. I think I am an empath by nature. And so when I hear people sharing certain stories, it is very, very emotional. Yeah.
nice. And do you take sort of a journalistic or a documentary style approach to the projects, or do you adapt it based on what you're doing? How do you, from a director standpoint, really create that for them?
I would describe my approach as primarily documentary.
Okay.
I like to guide people through their lives chapter by chapter, so their story naturally unfolds in a way that feels authentic and organized. And
Nice.
before we ever sit down to film, I do a pre-interview by phone where I'm asking all those questions to get a sense of their background, like are they married, do they have children, and are there areas of their life that they want to highlight or avoid?
Ah,
And so that preparation allows me to craft the right questions for that interview. And then once we're filming, I just trust my instincts. And if someone lights up while sharing a memory, sometimes I'll dig a little deeper into that moment. And then when I see that someone is feeling sensitive or emotional, we might move forward gently and naturally into the next chapter.
nice.
So every interview becomes unique because it adapts to the personality and comfort of the person in front of me.
Nice. Well, yeah, and I'm sure to them, there's probably not stories they tell all the time, I imagine. But do you ever get people that request certain stories to be told, like from their family member? Like, I want Grandpa to tell this story because it's a great memory and things like that. Do you have a lot of
Yes.
those moments?
Yes, I definitely have. In fact, I interviewed a woman and that was one of the first things that she told me. She said, I want to talk to you throughout this interview at some point about my travels in Catalina when she was a kid. And because there's so many cute stories with that. So um, definitely.
Really cute.
Because families, they're getting excited when they realize that their loved one is going to be interviewed.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, absolutely.
Well, and do you have sort of your token client and a really cool story of one that just did exactly what you hoped it would do in the moment and with the message? Do you have one of those testimonies you can tell us about?
I do. You know, recently I interviewed a gentleman um, who was on hospice care, and he was really scared. He was really scared to do the interview, and he said, "No, I'm not doing it." And I had somebody approach me and say, "I saw him last night, and he's on some medication now, and he seems like he's in really good spirits. So maybe you should follow up again." And I said, "Oh, I don't want to be pushy." And they said, "No, be pushy." And so I was pushy and I asked again. And his wife said, "Kristen, I'll get back to you." And within a week, she emailed me and she said, "He's ready." And I went in and I did the interview, and it was just so sweet and so special. And he passed away last week. And it's just the thought of him having that, them having that
Yeah.
for the memorial and for his grandson, who may not remember him because he's only 2 or 3, who he calls his heart. Um, it just warms my heart. I'm happy he'll have it.
Awesome. Well, here you are on year one, completely under your belt.
Yep.
Okay, so as an entrepreneur, what would you say your year one, if you could give the most positive insight for other entrepreneurs giving it a go? How do you feel after year one?
After year one, I would say I have grown tremendously as a person just in this past year because I am doing work that is using a completely different side of my brain.
Yeah.
And it's what I always, people always have told me, "Kristen, you should have been a therapist." Um, and so in a way, I feel like I'm sort of kind of a therapist. And so the impact that I am making is what is my driving force. And I have made a lot of pivots this year, and pivots in the sense that figuring out who is my target market. My
Yeah.
target market is the person that I'm going to be interviewing, but typically the people that I am really targeting, I've figured out, are the children. It's
Okay.
it's it's the kids,
Yeah.
the adult kids that really get together with siblings and say, let's do this for mom and dad. Whether
Yeah.
it's an anniversary, 30-minute interview where we talk only about their love story, or if it's about mom because mom had such an incredible life and has so many cute stories to share. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say that.
I love your business model. I think it's really brilliant and it's super important. I think you're right. As my kids are little, and as a person that does video, I feel like I am so thankful that I've captured all those moments from them. But I also feel fortunate because I feel comfortable in that space. So for you to facilitate that for people who are not as comfortable creating those videos for their family and making sure they have those moments, it's really special. So it's really
Yep.
cool. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
And then, do you want to give us, just before you go, just sort of a brief overview of where they can find your services? What is your website, and things like that, so we know how to reach you?
Absolutely. Yes. You can find me online at lifestoryinterviews.biz. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, and it's all at Life Story Interviews. And you can call me anytime. I would love to talk to you. My phone number is 951-719-6331. And like most people, I have my phone with me at all times. So feel free to call me at any point, except the middle of the night when I'm sleeping like a baby.
Oh, I love it. Awesome. All right, Kristen. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And we will tell you guys more about her business as things go forward. But you can stay tuned for Local Gist TV. We'll be showcasing some of her interviews here on our channel later this year. Thank you,
Thank you
Kristen.
so much for the time. I appreciate it, Jennifer.
We'll talk to you
Bye.
later. Bye.